Thank you so much. I would like to thank the Greg, Jody, and of course Patrick, and all the community for selecting this topic. I'm really glad to be part of talking with Jack, Dinas, and Cindy. So today, I'm gonna talk about the one of these the potential topics that I'm gonna present today, which is the incidence of progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy during multiple sclerosis biological exposure. So, to put it in a research question to start with, is it's really want to know among us patients with MS who are new user of biological treatment, how many patients experience PML while in treatment? And example of these biologics, we talk about alemtuzumab, natalizumab, ocrelizumab, and ofatumumab. These are just examples. We have other. I'm going to talk about it during my presentation. So to know exactly multiple sclerosis, and I'm sure there we have people know that more than me, but MS is a most commonly disabling neurological disease of young adult people, specific in age population between 20 to 40 years. However, this could also affect older people and also people younger than 20. As pathophysiology, to understand how this medication work or how the disease also affect the people, in the body, there is a nerve fibers called axon. It's covered by sheath, myelin sheath. This sheath is very protective, this axon. The MS as immunological inflammatory disease attack this sheath, as you see in the photo, and this damage the axon, and it cause barrier in communication between the brain and the whole body, and cause all these symptoms of the people or patient with MS. Inflammation, neurodegeneration, and ileosis are hallmark of MS, and it's considered a chronic disease. It's sometimes mild with no disability. It depends on the type of MS. However, it's quite a number of people is going worse and worse. It depends where it affects. There are different symptoms and complications, including that affect vision, sensation, and unfortunately bladder and bowel control. So there are different risk factors that affect, and I should say that MS is still it's really still an unknown disease, and I guess more and more we'll find because we don't have a lot of research, at least during my literature research. It affects female gender more than male, age, as I mentioned before, genetics. They found that associated with the gene chromosome 6p21. People with family history and some viral infection like Epstein-Barr virus, and also the race. They found that white, especially the Northern European disease, has more affected with the disease compared to Asian and African people. Injury, certain immune disease. Zenas just talk about psoriasis, which is also one of the leading to MS, and environmental factor. They found this climate also could affect countries like U.S. and New Zealand. The people that have been affected by MS and also associated with low level of vitamin D. Unfortunately, there is no specific diagnosis. However, they are using MRI to scan a brain and a spinal cord to see if there is a lesion that's indicated MS. They also do lumbar puncture to evaluate the cerebrospinal fluid for proteins occurrence and inflammatory, and also they use the what's called evoke potential test, that's sensation of the neuron. So this is just, I'm not going to talk about this in detail, but just McDonald's criteria to evaluate those patients and to define the type of the disease that MS with the patient. There are different types. The clinical isolated syndrome. I mentioned this type just to understand or how to get the cases of the MS, because some of the cases like CIS, which is usually occur at the first as area symptoms of the disease, not necessarily to develop later on as multiple sclerosis. We have also what we call it relapse remitting MS, primary progressive MS, and also secondary progressive MS. And these different types, if we go to details of the medication, we see that some medication are approved for different type of these of MS. as biologics, and actually this is one of the major reason for this. Biologics, we see a lot of diseases are treated by biologics, especially when we talk about MS in addition to cancer. So in general, there's a lot of increasing in using biologics, and we don't know a lot of biologics. And this graph show these the yellow one, dot or just the line. We see the increase of utilization of the biologics, and also this one, the red one is the biologists use. Also among the starting 2007 until 2015, there is increase of the utilization in different disease areas. So this there is a need to really understand both the benefit and also the risk associated with these biologics. So when we talk about MS, we have different approach to treat the attacks themselves. Usually they're using corticosteroid and plasma exchange, or using chronically medication, what you call disease-modified therapies, relapse management medication. So this is just an example of the treatment that's important to understand. The traditional medication, which is the interferon beta 1A, beta 1B, and also the glatiramer, one of the also medication, that's the old medication. Also the newer, not the newer, the newer medication, which is S1P receptor modulator. The famous drug is fingolimod. These medication have different approved indication, and the good things with this medication are using as oral medication. For our topic today, which is the B-cell depleting therapy, which is the biologics, which is high effective, but again, also have some risk that we really want to understand, with the PML is one of them. We talk about natalizumab, which is one of the oldest medication, I guess approved in 2004 by the FDA. The newest one, ocrelizumab, ofatumumab, alemtuzumab, and also the methotrexate. And these are also the other medication that we're using. This table just to show you where are the biologics medication that we're really focusing on in this project. So our outcome, which is progressive multifocal leukoencephalopathy, which is a really rare disease, similar to the point that mentioned by Zenas before me. And they believe this disease is caused by GC virus, which is occurred in different population. One of them people immunosuppressive patient, those who are in solid organ malignancy, autoimmune disease, and also for using medication or that's cause immunosuppression. The main issue with the PML is two things, actually. That there is no specific to treat it, and it really has high mortality rate. So this is one of the concerns that we have with this drug. So during my literature that I did, I really didn't see a lot of research either in area of the risk of these biologics in MS patients, and I found some research, but most of them are really in natalizumab, and this is one used by the company producing this drug. And actually, I found good study, which is published in JAMA Neurology, that assess the infection with some of the medication. This published in 2020, and they found different results from this study. And again, there are a lot of reviews on natalizumab, which is Tysabri. So when we go to the literature, we really don't see a lot assessing the medication, the risk of medication with the for the MS. Since I also expert in the regulatory and also from academic part, we see from time to time there's some concern and question by some regulatory authority assessing. They want to know the risk associated with this medication, especially the new one for the biologic and also biosimilar. And this is by EMA, and the other one by MHRA. This is the regulatory authority in the UK, and of course by the US FDA. And again, we talk about natalizumab. We don't have a lot of information about the new one. We don't know if there's a risk or there is no risk associated with this. So why we need this? From my opinion, that's most of the publication are reviews. We don't really have real studies or network study, let me say them. The focusing on natalizumab, I believe because it's the oldest drug, so they have data, so that's why they're conducting that. we have few studies, and like the JAMA neurology, it was conducted in Sweden, so we don't really have network study, most like simple database and also single country. It's a regulatory safety concern. So I believe this paper would really impact the regulatory, if it depends on the result, if there is or there is not. So it's really affect the impact of their decision. Again, daily healthcare professional safety concern, which one they use, which one is more safer, which one is more effective, benefit of risk to this drug. Also, on the other part, when we talk about the cost effective, which is also other area, they know the cost and effective, but they really don't know the risk. They really understand the risk of this medication. Odyssey, they really has a powerful expert tools and could help the community to the whole community to answer this research question. So how we contribute, everyone is really needed to conduct this study. Everyone, all of you, protocol writing, utilizing the tools, methodology, until publication. So everyone is welcome, and would love to see this this publication out. Thank you so much for your time.